Hey, what's up guys? Corey here, back out in the shop. Today we are moving back onto the Impala. I know a lot of you guys are super excited about that. It's actually probably one of our most popular builds so far. It's our most views. I'm real excited to get back on it. Today we went ahead and cleaned up the underside. That's kind of where we left off before in our last video, was undercoating it. So we cleaned up all that and shot a final top coat on it all, so it's like brand new. There won't be any overspray or dust, anything on it from here on out. So the bottom will be done. Now we'll go ahead and hopefully flip it up on the rotisserie, roll it back, hoist it up with the lift, and then we'll go ahead and start on the firewall, cleaning it up and painting all that. So let's go check out the bottom real quick, and then we'll get it set up on the lift. All right, nice and clean. Me and Lou been on it for a couple hours now. We've got the whole bottom, the fresh new top coat put on it. Now everything's smoothed out, our seam sealer's done. This thing looks phenomenal, it looks brand new under here. He's really gonna be happy with it. And it looked good before, but now with the rest of the seam sealer done and all the top coat on it, it really looks like a brand new car under here. If you guys are liking what you see, make sure you hit that like button, share and subscribe, tell your friends. We're going to go ahead and roll this thing back here and get her lifted up. All right guys, rotisserie is out, car's up. Today we're going to be working on the firewall. We're going to go ahead and strip everything out, pull all the motors off, pull all the box off, the AC box, all that stuff. As soon as we get that done, then we'll go ahead and sand, grind, sand, clean, re-seam seal, repaint. This is going to be all like a satin black, I believe, like a factory black color, I believe is what he decided to go with. Same with everything else under the rest of the hood. We'll match, but we'll go ahead and get this part done, and then we'll cover it all back up and get onto the body. So hopefully next weekend should be hopefully bolting the doors on and, you know, setting all the gaps and doing all that stuff here before long. We'll be back. All right guys, the front is stripped off. We pulled the box off and all that. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be putting it all new. But for now, we're just gonna be sanding this all down. We'll get it stripped down real good, and we'll get a good coat of primer on it all, and re-seam seal it. You know, make sure it's nice, straight. Even though it's a firewall, I still like to make sure they look nice and straight. Then we'll reshoot that, the factory satin black or whatever it is. In here, I went ahead and started. This is a little bit of a project. There's a lot of holes, but this dash originally had a factory cover on it, so it had all the holes here. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen that before, but this guy wanted that cover. He wanted that eliminated. It was kind of ratted and no good. It would have had to been re-vinyl covered. I'm pretty sure it was vinyl covered from the factory. So we just took it out and marked the holes, which ones we needed to fill, ground them all, and I made little lugs to go up in here, and I'll go through, tack them in, and then run around and tack them all real good, grind the heads off, and then that'll be ready for a little fill. The dash here, the factory dash, somebody's whacked on. You can see that. So we're just going to, he wants a certain type of stereo put in it, so we're going to go ahead and just make it like a regular single din style, and cut it up and trim it up real nice just to make it a little bit better. And after that, this thing will be pretty much ready to sand and prime. And as soon as we get that done, we'll spray it, and then we'll seal the car up. But just want to give you guys a quick update. We'll be back shortly when we get a little bit further. All right, all the holes are welded up. I went ahead and took my flap wheel here on my 4.5 inch DeWalt. That's the type of wheels I like to use. They don't really build heat. The big ones, the grinding stones, I think build up a lot of heat and kind of warp the dash, and I don't know, warp your metal and stuff. So I use these flap wheels, and you can kind of see I just knocked it off completely flat, flush, and it's all gone. I'll go ahead and finish the rest of them, knock that one off and the rest of these, and then we'll go ahead and finish sanding the dash and be ready for a light coat of fill. All right, we got all of our dash holes completely ground. You can see there's still a few little low spots here and there. I'm not going to go back and weld on this anymore. I don't want to. You know, everything looks good so far except for those low spots. So now we'll go ahead and mix up just a little bit of fiberglass filler, a little body fill, and we'll thin it out a little bit with our resin so it'll flood out real nice, and we'll you know, lay these out real nice fine coat over this stuff and block it out. This is a you know, a dash. It's sitting in the sun baking all the time. I highly recommend using fiberglass filler on these dashes for sure. I mean, definitely fiberglass fill whenever you're doing any, you know, major work like this, but especially on this dash. But we'll go ahead and go over here and mix some up real quick and show you kind of how I use it. I like to thin it down because when you get it, it's usually a lot thicker than regular body filler, and it, you know, it's pretty hard to spread. So I'll show you a little trick I learned along the way to thin it out and help you out. All right, guys, I've got my filler here. I went ahead and laid a little bit out. All I need is Duraglass. It's what I generally use for fiberglass filler. I'm just going to take a little bit of fiberglass resin. This stuff's made, if you read the directions, it's made with fiberglass resin. Most of your body fillers are. No big deal. You can just thin this out. And you ain't got to do a lot. And just mix it in there, just like you would your hardener. And it'll make this a little bit more soupy. You guys can see that stuff's real stiff. But it'll make that a little bit more soupy, like. And then you just go ahead and continue on, and you add your hardener just as you normally would. Once you get this to the thickness you want, wherever you think you can work with it better. Like I said, it don't take much. But then we'll take it on over here to the dash, and you'll see how much better it smooths out and lays out. It makes a lot less sanding and a lot less work for you. All right, I got it all smoothed out. You guys can see how much better that stuff lays out when you thin it out a little bit. I'll block all these spots out real nice, and then she'll be ready for a coat of primer. After the well, the Firewall is actually ready for primer now too. It's just got to be clean. Pretty much. The back here, we're going to prime it, and then it'll be ready for seam sealer and you know, trunk coating. But mainly we're going to focus on getting this dash and this Firewall painted before we do that. That'll be like the trunk will be like the last thing we do. So for now, I'll just let this stuff dry up, and we'll be back probably after it's blocked out. We'll just put some 80 grit on a flat block and block them all out real quick. Won't take long. We'll be back. All right, guys, real quick while that's setting up, I'm gonna go ahead and I've got the dash traced out. Now, normally I wouldn't do this stuff. I wouldn't normally cut on a dash, but you guys can see somebody's already whacked on it a little bit here to get something to fit. So, and they did a terrible job, but we're just going to clean it up here. I've got a template from a single DIN stereo, and I just placed it up there, taped it out, and I'm going to cut it out real quick. And hopefully by then our filler should be good and hard, and we can go ahead and get to sanding. All right, guys, I went ahead and blocked out these spots here, just 80 grit on a soft block. It's usually how I do it if it's, you know, in a tight spot like this or whatever. I don't want to put any tools on this and warp this dash. So it'll just take me 10-15 minutes here to block these out, and we'll move on. But I'll set you guys up on a tripod, and you can watch me finish this out real quick in a time lapse. Here we go. All right, everything's blocked out, ready. We are 100% ready for primer. I went ahead and taped up around the outside, kind of how I'm gonna tape it up here. I'll paper everything up real nice here in a minute, but turned out pretty nice. Everything's nice and flat, straight, even, blocked out. So we'll go ahead and get some primer mixed up here in a little bit and spray that. And also this back here, this panel here has got primer on it, but this rest of this stuff's got a lot of bare metal, so we're gonna, and this here, that all needs primed with some good 2K primer. So we're gonna go ahead and set you guys up on a tripod here in a minute, and you can watch us finish taping it up and throw on some primer. If you guys are learning anything, make sure you give us a like, a share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, everything is completely taped up, papered up. You can see how I did it. Not rocket science. Anybody can do this stuff, guys. Anybody can restore these old cars. I'm nobody special. Yeah, so now everything will get a coat of 2K. I'll go ahead and set you guys up for a little bit and film, but I'll probably have to shut it off because it gets a little, I don't like getting overspray on my camera, and I don't have no way to protect it. But so we'll go ahead and set you guys up real quick and get some primer on this, some good high build primer, and then it'll be ready to, you know, the dash of course will need, you know, body worked a little bit slightly after that, because it had the bodywork spots, or I mean blocked out, I'm sorry, but after we prime it. But this stuff back here, we won't have to do anything. It's just going to be primed and left in primer, so until it's ready for the trunk coating. Up here we'll get this firewall. We'll worry about getting it primed probably tomorrow or, you know, the next day, but I'll probably wrap this video up here as soon as I get this dash all primed up and everything. We'll set you guys up and get to spraying here in a little bit. All right, guys, I've got our primer mixed up, high build 4-to-1 U-pull. I've used this stuff for years, good stuff. Thinned it out a little bit with some urethane reducer, about 10%. Went ahead and got my gun loaded up, and we're gonna go set you guys up on a tripod and get some primer on this dash finally. Hopefully very soon, maybe the next video, we'll finally get some paint on it. It's been a lot of years since this thing's had some paint on it. Like I said, we'll paint the dash, and then we'll cover it all up so it don't you know, it don't get bothered or affected anymore, and then move on with the rest of it. But all right, guys, here we go. All right, guys, got our primer on, all of our bare metal, Like I said before, that's direct to metal primer, good stuff. So everywhere is, this already had good primer on it, so we didn't worry about that. But everywhere else is good and coated, and we'll come back, after this, seam seal everything up, and then we'll put our trunk coating in, and that'll be, that'll do that, and that'll look beautiful when it's done. As far as up here on the dash, got it all sprayed, got the wheel, everything sprayed, turned out really nice and slick. Across the dash, you can kind of see nice and straight. That's what we want, good straight body work. Use you a good block and you can get that. No problem, just take your time. This stuff here is just about flashed. That's why some of it looks shinier in some spots and drier in others. It's just because it's not quite dry yet, but it'll be there. Beautiful dash. Filled all the holes, cut the new stereo hole. This thing's ready for paint, so in our next video we will hopefully be getting some paint on that sucker. I'm excited about it. He picked out a beautiful collar. I think you guys will like it too. If you guys are learning anything, if you like what you're watching, please give us a like. Hit that red subscribe button. Hit the notification bell right beside it if you don't mind. Share it. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Come check out the 64 build. It's coming along beautifully. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I've been out here in the shop about 2.5 days or so working on this, getting all that stuff ready, prepped, ground, and getting the dash holes all filled and all that. Getting it all primed. It took us right around 2.5 days. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off, get it made, posted, uploaded, and yeah, hopefully you guys like what you see. Like I said, leave us a like, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.